and I'm going to pull out two major things, was one, the aim to remake reality itself, essential to which was extinguishing spaces of debate, encounter, speech, opinion, and interest formation, a world, in short, that gathers and separates us, a plural world of others. So that was central to the project of remaking reality, was extinguishing those spaces. The second thing that she argued, which was unprecedented, was that the aim of totalitarianism was to make the uniqueness of the human person superfluous. Whether in concentration camps, in the terror units, or in the highest levels of bureaucracy, both victims and executioners lived in a world in which who they were as distinctive beings had no place. The effect was she brought the unforgivable reduction of the human person to living corpses. So what should haunt us about all this? A lot. But today, first, the resonances with the Trump regime's cocktail of fear, racist scapegoating as an instrument of mobilization, delegitimizing the press, the judiciary. There's more coming, I'm sure. Those two are critically targets right now. Remaking reality through emancipation from not only empirical facts and evidence-supported claims, but also without any concern for and an embarrassment about their unscrupulousness, the corruption, the lying, endorsement of torture, the intentional sowing of chaos, the rise of an ideology of racial supremacy, a totalizing ethos in which winning is everything, and a ruthless limitlessness. I think these things, in light of the experience of totalitarianism, should haunt us about our present. Second thing that should haunt us is that the material and psychological conditions that made it possible for the Nazis to mobilize masses around an ideologically constructed enemy are the very same conditions in which our politics is unfolding today. Those material conditions are a capitalist, economic, and bourgeois social world in which private gain in a ruthlessly competitive world is celebrated, and where profound economic suffering combined with deep social isolation is the condition we live in. The psychological consequences of this are that losers feel superfluous.
The presidential administration, headed by the rapist-in-chief Donald Trump, displayed characteristics associated with classical fascism. And second, to what extent can we say that Gross's prediction that the United States was on a path to being governed by a new form of totalitarianism correct? Now, classical fascism was characterized by a particular heinous and tripartite relationship between capitalist industry and finance, a totalitarian state, and a robust and aggressive military, to which were added a constellation of singular characteristics. And these are, and I'll put this up here as well, read that or not, but I'll actually talk about that. These are characteristics. A charismatic dictator, one-party rule, which the fascist party displaces the historic state, government by decree rather than legislation, courts subservient to the party, demonization of outgroups purported to pose existential threats to national life, culture, and identity, establishment of the sovereign as sole source of truth, hyper-nationalism, and mobilization of mass support for irrational ideas. I would say we're far too early into the Trump presidency to have any real way of knowing if the Republic will survive his term in office or be replaced by a classically fascist state or some other form of totalitarianism. However, I suggest that we can assess inclinations of the executive to see how they just look against this. So that's what I have up here. Okay. We have a charismatic dictator. Well, we have a charismatic leader, for sure, someone who is seen as charismatic by a significant portion of the public. That leader has a will to dictatorship. I think that's fairly clear in his overweening kind of egomania. However, when we have a dictatorship, has that been achieved? Probably not now, and I would say probably never. One-party rule, which the fascist state, the fascist party displaces the state. I would say not yet, and I'm also going to say at this point, I don't see any apparent will to create more of a single-party state than we already have. And that, I mean that in two terms. One, there is only one party in the United States, and that's the Capitalist Party. It has two wings, and as it turns out, one of those two wings may achieve the goal of a permanent Republican majority, unless there are changes in the electoral process and so on. So, I don't see any real change coming in. Government by decree rather than legislation? No, not yet. However, we clearly see a will to govern by decree as executive orders. Courts subservient to the party? Not yet. Although we clearly see efforts to delegitimize